Okay, so we are going to basically take everything we learned yesterday, and then we're going to put it into solving problems or into use today. So we learned yesterday that if I have the formula a to the power of m over n, how can I write that in radical format?
A to the power of m and radical.
So I do the what? N. Good. So is there any other way that I can write this?
Yes.
How?
1 over n, power of 1 over n, and then big bracket would be m.
Yeah. Let me just try just 1 second. So I have to have conditions for n, m, and a. So number 1, the condition is n has to always be positive number. Okay? Because you can't take the negative root. Okay? There's no such thing as the negative square root. Okay? So n has to always be a positive integer. It always have to be a whole number. That's why we call it an integer. Okay? It's a positive integer. M can be either positive or negative, so we're going to say m is an integer, but preferably it's a positive integer as well. So we know how to make it into a positive. We flip the base and make the exponent positive. Okay? But the condition says m has to be an integer. Positive or negative, it doesn't matter. You guys know when I say integer, I mean whole numbers. Then a has to be positive, so it's greater than or equal to 0 when n is even. Why is that? For any even root. So if I'm taking like the square root of negative 16, can I do that? Do it on the calculator. What do you get when you do square root of negative 16? Do it. Square root of negative 16. You get an error. How about if you do the 4th root of negative 16? Error? Yeah. How about if you do the cube root of negative 16? So you get an answer for that. Okay. Do you guys need help with the calculator? So the 4th root, that means you have to do 4, shift this. Okay? Of negative 16, and then you're going to get an error. Okay? So what's the difference between, eyes on me? This is the square root. This is the 4th root. This is the cube root. Why does this give me an answer while these give me math error? Why?
Maybe because the pair number doesn't work.
Because those are even, and that's not even.
That's right. Okay?
Maybe the even numbers doesn't give you an answer and the impairs.
Okay, let's go back here. Square root is the opposite operation of what? Square. Right? So technically, I have something squared that gives me this answer, yes? Anything squared. So if I have negative 4 squared, what does that give me? 16. Does it give me negative 16? No number ever, when I square it, it's going to give me a negative. That's why. I can't take the square root of a negative number because no squared number is actually negative. Right? No number raised to an even exponent. So no matter what it is, negative 2 to the power of 4, right? That's going to give me positive 16. As long as you have an even exponent, right, your answer is always going to be positive, right? That's why the opposite operation doesn't work on the negative answers. There's no such thing as if you do the opposite, the square root or the fourth root of a negative number, it doesn't exist. Okay? So, A has to be positive if you're taking the even root. Okay? So when a question says write it in radical format, you're looking at the root. If it says write it in rational format, you're looking at, you scared me. You're looking at the fraction. Okay, so the first question says rewrite each expression using rational exponent. So how would I write that using rational exponent? What would I? 25 to the power of what? 1 over 2, right? Because this is an invisible 2 right here. It's a square root. Are we okay with that? Okay. How about for the second one? What do I write?
Negative 125 power of 1 over 3.
So negative 125 in bracket because the negative is under the root to the power of 1 over 3. Bless you. So what would you do for C?
1.05 to the power of 3 by 4.
Okay, so 1.05 to the power. Eyes on me for a second. Eyes on me for a second. To the power of, so 3 goes on the numerator, 4 goes on the denominator. So it's 3 over 4. Okay? Why is this 1? Because there's no exponent here. So my exponent is technically speaking 1. Right? So in this case, they're just asking you to write each expression using rational exponent. It's not asking you to evaluate. It just wants it in rational rational exponent. Now for this one, we are moving backward, right? So we're writing each expression in radical form. Now it says, and then evaluate, right? So this question is asking you for 2 things. Thing number 1 is write it in rational. Number 2, evaluate. Sorry, write it in radical. So what would be the radical format of this?
81 square.
So the square root of 81. What's the square root of 81? How about negative 64 to the power of 1 over 3?
Negative 64 cube root.
So the cube root of negative 64, and what does that give you?
Negative 4.
How would I rewrite that as a radical format? So what do I put in my root? 5, 32, and then to the power of 4. You can put the power of 4 here, but you put the 4 outside as well. So it's either this way, or you can write it on the outside. It doesn't matter. What? What do you mean?
You don't say paint the square when it's 5?
Oh, we just say to the power, the fifth root. Yeah. So how are you going to put that in the calculator? I think the answer is 16. Good. Okay? So, doesn't matter how you enter it in the calculator. You can enter it like this. That's a power. Now, if you want to check if your answer is correct, how can you enter this in the calculator? Tell me. 32. Power of bracket 4 divided by 5. If you want to check your answer, make sure that this answer is correct by entering this. You can enter this in the calculator, right? You can do 32 power bracket 4 divided by 5, close bracket, and that should give you exactly the same answer. Right? Are we good with that?
Yeah. Who invented the math? He needs to be hanged.
Why? He's solving everyone's problem now. All right. Let's look at the next question. Next question is a little bit different, but at the same time is not that different. So, solve for the unknown variable x. So I need to solve for x. So how did you get 2?
Because I divide, no.
4 roots on both sides.
Fourth root. And why are we doing fourth root?
To get rid of x.
That's right. I want to isolate for that 4, right? For that x, sorry. So I want to isolate for that x, right? To get rid of the x, you have to take the fourth root of both sides, right? Because the opposite of the power is the root. Yes, 2. So x equals 2. Now, how can you check your answer? 2 to the power of 4 is equal to 16? Yes, it is. So make sure that your left side is equal to your right side.
I know where you're coming from. I know where you're going to take us.
Where?
With that problem. With that,
To the next one? Yes.
the next one, and then it's going to get wider.
Of course.
That's the reason.
Do you want me to start with the hard one? No. Okay. How would you solve the next one?
Okay.
So you want to write it in radical form?
Yes.
Sure. Why not?
Yes, it's
Or
going to
we
be
can do the negative 27 with the power of that 3 over 2. After the, sorry, x is 2 over 3.
I knew you knew it. I knew you knew it. Sorry, what was yours? Is the answer 9? Yes, it is. Did you guess and check?
No, I typed in the calculator.
What did you type in the calculator?
I put
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you did the opposite operation. You're smart. Smart. Okay. So, what do you guys want me to do? Do you want me to write it in radical form?
No, I want you to explain how. Because
No. I want.
I square this side, but I can do it to the other side because it's negative.
Okay, let's do this. If you want to write it in radical form, right? Basically, I'm not doing anything. I'm just rewriting it, okay? So I'm rewriting it like this. Right? Can you guys tell me that this is x to the power of 3 over 2 is the same thing as the root of x cubed? Okay. And here's Raphael. Here is now you're doing the opposite operation. Right? As of now, I did not do any opposite operation. I just rewrote it. Okay? Now, to get rid of that square root, what do you do? To get rid of the square root, what do you do?
Square root on this side. Exponent.
Exponent 2.
Yeah.
Square it.
Yes.
Square it.
Yes.
Okay. To get rid of the square root,
Yes.
you square.
Yes.
So, let's square both sides. When you square both sides, that will get rid of your square root. So you'll be x cubed equal to, what's this squared?
That was a guess, a really big guess. So
Then what? Then cube root, because you want to get rid of the cube. Right? To cube root, so what do you get? 9. It is.
What did he do?
What did he do? Now, I honestly like the best is Seida's way. Okay? Why? His way is correct, but then he's using radical as well. Okay? So, Seida said, if I have, eyes on me. So if you have x squared equals to 16, right? To solve, you do the square root, which is basically you're raising it to the power of a half, because square root is the same thing as power and a half, yes? Yes, yes, yes? Everyone? Okay, good. So the opposite operation of square is raising it to the power of 1/2, yeah? Good. Now, 1/2 is the reciprocal of 2, right? So 1/2 is 2 over 1, you flip it. Now in this case, I have 3 over 2. So if I want to get rid of the 3 over 2, I have to raise it to the power of 2 over 3. So technically I can do this in one step. Technically I can do this in one step, and instead of having it like this to isolate, I just have to raise it to the power of 2 over 3, 2 over 3. And what happened when I raise it to the power of 2 over 3, if I multiply 3 over 2 by 2 over 3, what do you get? So you got rid of it, right? Because power to the power you multiply. You guys agree? Yeah. So that's x 3 over 2 times 2 over 3, yes? 6 over 6, that's 1. So that's it. They simplify to 1. And then this, if I put it in the calculator, it's going to give me 9. Right? So you're raising it to the reciprocal exponent. Yes?
I get it.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You know why? Because we're used to this. We're used to, if I have x squared, the opposite, I do the square root. We're not used to, right? We're not used to that if I have x squared, to get rid of the square, I raise it to the power of 1/2. But technically speaking, this and this are exactly the same thing. The square root and a half.
I'm trying to say, for example, if the x were up to the power of 9, so if I want to get rid of the 9, I have to raise the whole thing to the power of 1 over 9?
Yes.
So,
Yes. But anything you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So if you raise one side to 1 over 9, you have to raise the other to 1 over 9.
Because I know
What?
in my country we don't do it with the calculator.
So this one, how do you do it in the calculator? Okay, here's how you do it. Negative 27 in bracket,
Yeah.
right? Power 2 divided by 3. Yes. Yeah.
Then it equals to 1.
Yeah.
So
But you did it to this
power of
side.
1.
Yeah, you did it to this side. You have to do it to this side as well. Yeah. So do that in a calculator.
Negative 27, 3.
Yeah. Squared. So you do, where's the squared go? Yeah.
Oh, then
Right?
I do it
But you can do it in a calculator. Negative
23.
27 power. Why is this not working? Negative 27 power, and then open the exponent, and then do 2 over 3.
Oh, instead of doing that,
Yeah, you can. This is the same thing. It's going to give you the same answer.
9.
math
Yeah.
error. I have to do this.
Does it give you an error? Let's see. I have to calculate.
Why is this giving you an error?
Maybe we're doing something wrong. Maybe it's not in bracket.
No, it shouldn't be.
Basically, we're gonna get back that assignment we did.
Once I mark it, yeah. It should be, no, it shouldn't be negative 9, it's positive 9. Your calculator is not taking that properly. Okay?
It's because it's old.
What?
It should be updated.
If we put negative 27, the power of 2 divided by 3, it's giving us error.
Why?
I don't know.
It's giving them error.
Yeah, it's giving us error.
When I put the brackets, I get When I do it by itself, I get negative 9.
By itself, but then where are you getting?
I'll check it on my calculator.
When I put a negative 27,
It should be positive 9 and it should work.
But teacher, if it's rising to the power of 3, you said that the answer is going to be negative if the other is negative. Remember?
See, my calculator is giving me the right answer.
Your calculator is the best. This one are like the student's calculator of that one.
It's not like, you know what, you know how we should do it? First, square root negative 27.
Yeah, but then if
And the
you,
answer,
I know, but if you do it all together, it should work. It's the same thing.